What is going on, my fellow geeks, and welcome back to Raving Geeks.
I do have a media recommendation.
I love Lord of the Rings. Superheroes, movies, a little jack of all trades, I guess.
So what makes me a geek?
What is going on, my fellow geeks, and welcome back to Raving Geeks, a brand new season of Raving Geeks, to be exact. This is your weekly pop culture podcast from Central Michigan Life, where we discuss all things geek culture, which is much like high culture, but better. If this is your first time joining us, make sure you follow the CM Life Instagram and Twitter pages for updates on the podcast, and to look for us wherever you find your podcasts, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on our website at www.cm-life.com. So welcome back, everyone. My name is Brendan Valentine, and I'd like to thank you all for joining me and my fellow co-hosts this week. We're going to introduce themselves in a second with our question of the week. Let's start. So question of the week, simple enough. How was your summer? Hope or Isaac, one of you want to start?
All right, I'll go. Hey everyone, I'm Hope Gooderl. Listen, my summer was busy, mostly rebuilding a pop-up camper trailer roof before we went camping, and even then, we need to make more repairs on it. But yeah, it was really good. It was packed with a lot of family and just chilling out, not being on computer school for a while. So yeah, it was good.
Awesome.
Hello again, you people. Isaac Hunter here. Pleasure to be here. Welcome to Raving Geeks 2021 to 2022 Electric Boogaloo. I've been waiting to say that. My summer went well. I worked my 2 jobs the entire summer. And I was here in Mount Pleasant. Lovely place.
Without any mountains.
Yeah, there's not a single
also
mountain.
Not very pleasant, but
that's
sometimes.
just
it's sometimes
flat okay.
But yeah, I didn't do a lot this summer. Lately, I've been trying to watch a movie every week. That's a thing my girlfriend and I are doing. And I'm excited to actually go camping this upcoming Labor Day weekend. That's my end of the summer. Huzzah!
Nice. Good.
Brendan.
I also did a lot of working. I worked at a golf course. I guess. Oh, I'm officially a published author since we last spoke. Yeah, last summer I wrote a chapter in an academic book, and the book published on July 30th. So if anyone would like to go purchase the book, let's see. Where's my copy? Give them a little self promo.
5 cents of commission.
Royalties.
I don't get paid.
No.
Well, then what's the point?
The guy that I work with gets paid, and he wants to bring me back on more projects. Maybe this helps me get into grad school.
Tell him to sponsor Raving Geeks.
Oh, heck yeah! No, I'll just go. Quick ask Cambridge scholars real quick. The book is called "The Notion of Space Within Diverse Fields of Cognizance."
No, it's called Oscorp Tower.
Very digestible title.
It was Oscorp Tower. You couldn't see it at all. It was just Oscorp Tower.
Oh yeah, for those of you listening on just audio, we all have backgrounds and stuff. Hope has a Loki thing. Isaac has a dagger on his desk.
That's
and I am.
That's Sting.
Sting. And then I had. Oh, I didn't even notice that yet. No, that's 100%. Whoops.
It's all right. It's all right.
I've got Oscorp Tower behind me. So those of you now watching on video, just to give you a little perspective. So yeah, for the real adults out there that listen to the podcast, sorry, we are still college students, and summer vacation kind of is a thing. So don't mean to alienate, but we are officially back from our summer hiatus. Very excited to be back. I love doing the pod. Lots of geek stuff happened this summer. So we're gonna try and not overwhelm y'all. I know y'all kept up on the geek news over the summer, but we're just going to keep going. So, but before we get to our official geek news, we just have some quick podcast updates, some slight changes we're going to be making. First of all, we'd like to start with our question of the week, hearing from the audience. So if you're listening on YouTube, you can always comment ideas for questions of the week, and we can give you a shout out, or if you want to stay anonymous, we'll keep you anonymous. If you listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, probably your best way to reach out to us is via Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. We'd love to hear from y'all. And then we'll also be making a slight change to our geek news. You will notice that it will be significantly shorter, but that is because most of geek news will now be moving to TikTok, so we can update it daily instead of weekly, and be a little more on top of things and give the Raving Geeks hot takes that you know and love. So that is it. Our TikTok is at Raving Geeks. So that's all you really need. You just title the podcast, you'll find it. You can also find Hope and I on TikTok as well, so feel free to give us a follow.
And if you're a Packers fan, come support me, because apparently,
Hope almost lost her position as a host of this podcast because she came out as a Packers fan on TikTok, and I was very upset. I don't actually care that much. I just thought it was funny.
Didn't I tell you guys that I was a Packers fan before? Like, I feel like that was not news.
Yeah, but you christened it when you put it on social media. Like something just rubbed me the wrong way with that. But oh well, let's move on to our very positive, wholesome podcast. So to get things started, per usual, we're gonna start off with our geek news. Would anyone like to start?
I'll start because you said happy and positive, and my news is sad. I know. It's to all those listeners out in China. Our fellow online gamers have been essentially, China has set a ban barring online gamers under the age of 18 from playing online video games on weekdays, and then limiting their play to just 3 hours on most weekends. Making one of the highest restrictions on a country, especially for this massive gaming country that China is. It's kind of sad. But I mean, I don't have much of a say in it, but minors will only be allowed to an hour of playtime between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Friday, weekends, and public holidays. Of course, I don't know what this means for non-online gaming, which is all of my gaming. So
yeah,
maybe they're all right. I don't know. My heart goes to them.
So I know the composition of most like international esports teams is it's not, a lot of minors, but like I wonder if that's going to impact their like presence in esports. Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. I didn't know about that.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. So at the time this podcast is released, 6 days ago.
Oh yes.
I see. That's why I'm always forgetting that this does not release as soon as we record it, which is probably for the best.
Turns out everyone is actually going to go and storm Area 51. Brand new news.
Brand new news? Oh yeah, perfect.
Just kidding. That was a joke.
Oh no, I got it. What was that? Over a year ago now? Or no? That was 2020.
Yeah.
2020.
And I think like all of like 2 people actually showed up there.
Yeah.
I mean, they got their aliens. Alrighty. Geek news on my front. Personal geek news. I now have access to HBO Max.
Woo! Oh, so do I. Yes.
No.
I currently am planning on rewatching the Suicide Squad movie next time I open that. That was a very good movie. We will cover that later, probably in a different episode, but I highly recommend. But my geek news, as the time of the podcast is released, tomorrow, the next VOT 7 on 7 will be released. For fans of The Boys, the people that are producing the show for Amazon Prime are putting out quick, like 7-minute segments on the 7th day of every month since July. So there's 2 out right now, one for July 7th, one for August 7th, that are just giving quick tidbits to like create a link between the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3, where it's just basically a news segment. And they have 7 quick news stories with an ad in the middle. So if you're hurting for content for The Boys, the 7th of every month on YouTube, there will be a quick teaser as to what's going on. I'm hoping we'll get some information in this next one about the role of Jensen Ackles' character.
Yes.
Nothing about him has been mentioned in these videos yet. It's mostly been about Homelander, Huey, and Starlight. Yep, it's been a while since I've watched the show. But I'm very excited for season 3, and I'm happy that we got this like news in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know that, and I'm excited because I love The Boys.
Oh yeah, if you just need 15 minutes to just like think about the show, right now there's 15 minutes on YouTube about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will keep my geek news brief. I went through and tried to find my usual amount, but I will keep it brief. So first off, Freeform has already announced their 31 Nights of Halloween lineup, and the full schedule is out. So starting October 1st, I will say, is Casper, is the very first movie that they're going to be showing for 31 Nights of Halloween. So I'm excited for that. And I'll do a couple more. So if you're a fan of Tom Hopper, or, oh my gosh, I can never remember his name, but he was in Outlander, and he's the one that was the Scottish guy that was going around Scotland and England with someone else. I can't remember his name. But they were in a new movie together called SAS, Rise of the Black Swan. It also stars Ruby Rose in it. And that is officially available on Netflix around the world. And I watched it last night, and it was really good. Very good. The fight scenes were spot on, and the amount of dialogue within the fight scenes was also pretty good for movies and stuff. For fans of the Lightning Thief musical, the Percy Jackson musical, you can now order the script for the Lightning Thief musical for yourself if you want to. You can check that out at LT Musical on Instagram, or I'm sure their Facebook or website too. You can also go there and check that out. And my final bit of news, because I have to keep y'all updated on this, especially because of how invested I am. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard still going at it with the divorce stuff. Y'all know how I feel about Amber Heard.
I've
Johnny
heard.
Depp. Yeah, it's great. But so Johnny Depp has been granted the green light to press libel charges against Amber Heard, despite the UK court ruling that he was a wife beater. The court date is slated for early next year. And it'll also examine Heard's counterclaims that Johnny Depp sicked social media bots on her. I don't know what exactly she was thinking about that. Probably the TikTok that I made on my personal account of, she said that people were being paid to speak out against her. Well, I haven't been paid yet, so.
Dang, imagine having that kind of money that you can just pay people to talk crap about your ex.
Right.
Oh man.
But so the other legal victory Johnny Depp had earlier this month was in New York. Which stated that Amber Heard had to release whether or not she actually donated the $7 million divorce settlement she got to various charities. So the ACLU and a couple others. So it's going back towards, hey, everyone might get to see that Amber Heard is actually the one who should be losing her reputation and everything. But that is my geek news for today.
Thank you very much, y'all.
Woo! Wait, so can community colleges do Lightning Thief? Can any place of school, high school?
Yeah, so it was already available for getting it for high schools and stuff for Lightning Thief, because I told my sister about it. But now if you want your own individual script to read, so Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, or the Fantastic Beasts film script books, you can also get the Lightning Thief musical book. And I think that's awesome.
Pretty cool. Sorry, Brendan. Continue.
Oh, no, you're good. This podcast is so insanely structured, and I'm so rigid about everything. Um, well, for our main topic, we know we were, gone for a little while, but dang, did we miss a lot of MCU news? So we figured we'd start from where we left off. We had an episode where we talked about WandaVision, how that ended, and we were talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier as, we were finishing up. So we're probably going to start off, Falcon and Winter Soldier, just give, quick reactions. It's been a few months. It's a little talked out. But talk about that and some updates on Captain America 4. Then we're going to go through, the progression of things that have been released. So let's start. Anyone have any strong, controversial hot takes about Sam Wilson as Captain America and his costume in the season finale?
Well, you brought up WandaVision, and it reminded me of something that I read, that the ads that were the Hydra ads were actually like supposed to be like strange, like trying to communicate with Wanda somehow.
I don't think that's true.
I think it was originally supposed to be that, but then because of like how they changed the timeline and everything, and like when they released stuff, that it ended up not being that. But
I think we can discuss Wanda Maximoff and Stephen Strange later in this episode when we also discuss Sir Peter Parker.
Yes.
When did he get knighted?
He has not been, but I think he should be. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man went to London, or was supposed to, until Gwen Stacy. Spoilers! Until Gwen Stacy died.
She was a pain in the neck.
Oh, stop it!
Oh no! No, that's bad form.
Gwen Stacy.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
But anyway, Falcon the Winter Soldier. Yeah, the news that I have heard, at the time that was finishing up, there were talks about a Captain America 4, and it has now been confirmed with Sam Wilson taking, the helm as Captain America, which I'm very excited for, like a full-length feature film. Falcon the Winter Soldier was very good, but I think Captain America stories are best told in a movie format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, one, I Sam Wilson, I do like how comic accurate his outfit is. Like it almost like exactly like it is in the recent comics of him being Captain America. But I also agree that they're probably better in movie form, since you could, like, I don't know, some of the episodes I feel like we're stretching. Like you're like,
well, I think the whole idea of like being, excuse me, I'm sorry. Never mind. I was going to make a COVID joke, but that's inappropriate. I just had a frog in my throat. But I feel like, Captain America 1 was like a war movie. Captain America 2 was closer to a spy movie. And like, so was Civil War. Oh, wait, no. Captain America Winter Soldier, spy movie, Civil War. Kind of like that, like, modern warfare movie. Yeah. But I feel like they play into like
brother.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. But then I feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier couldn't, take on the tropes of a war movie or a spy movie the way like a Captain America 4 film could, and I think that's what lends itself best to Captain America.
Yeah. It was almost like a vigilante like take.
I mean, it kind of was a war-ish, because it was more of the war of trying to bring people back together and like understanding each other. So like fighting the war on like not communicating, or
I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah,
they were trying to use like the tropes of like a war movie. However, it was a TV show.
That's true.
So they couldn't put everything in there, the whole arc. It was great for what like as it is, but I'm just excited that like that's not the end of the, just Sam and probably Bucky, being together. So I was hoping for either a season 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but if it's between a season 2 of the show and a Captain America 4, around them, I'd prefer the film.
Yeah.
I will say one rumor that I've heard is that Bucky dies in Captain America 4. And like, I'm already kind of mad at Marvel/Disney for things that they have done that we can discuss later. But if they kill off Bucky again, I'm going to riot. And I will boycott. Just say, like, I will actually go down to Kevin Feige and be like, what the heck are you doing?
They got to put some stakes in these films. If no one dies, because people are talking about bringing Tony Stark back, and if that happens, I'm going to be not like angry, but I'm like, He's gone. His arc is done, and that's what made it meaningful.
His arc reactor's gone too.
I'm pretty sure there are still arc reactors, seeing as in Black Panther 2, Ironheart has been confirmed. So I'm assuming that her armor will be based off arc reactor technology.
Yeah. But also with characters dying, like these are actors that have been in these movies for the past 9 years. Less than that. And so I could see that some of them might want to retire from the Marvel movies.
That makes sense.
Although, I mean, I'm just saying, I think that Mark Ruffalo has the best gig because he can just do CGI like now. So he could just like sit in a booth and talk.
Have you seen the behind the scenes of like him and Josh Brolin like doing the Hulk Thanos fight? And they're both just in like the big things. They're like, they look so like, I don't want to be here today.
That's fair.
But yeah, I feel like we've covered Falcon the Winter Soldier. That's like, we covered most of the show. So the one thing that was completely, we didn't talk about it at all before we went on our summer hiatus was Loki. So what was everyone's overall thoughts of the show?
An L for I loved it.
L for Loki?
That too.
For Loki here, my background with the whichever.
I thought it was so good. I think it was my favorite of the 3 like Marvel TV shows, like the live action ones. Which I know people might disagree with on that, but I mean I've always loved Loki. Gosh, it's so good. I love the lore. I love Mobius. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Gosh. I love the variants. Variants are such a cool concept.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I definitely felt like it had the most, at the end, it felt like it had the most stakes and like the most change in the MCU. That felt like, the season finale of Loki felt like the end of, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Hydra, S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone. It was Hydra. Where do we go from here? End of Loki. Spoiler alert. It's like the sacred timeline has been destroyed. Where do we go from here?
Which there are theories that Wanda breaks the multiverse at the same time that Strange is casting the spell at the same time that like Kang is killed or something.
Yeah, I see. Well, they see when they do that thing where they put the last episode at the same time as the other last episode in the runtime, and then like at the moment that like Kang like drops the thing and says he doesn't know like what's happening next is the same moment that like.
I don't think it could be the same as Strange from the No Way Home trailer, simply because WandaVision takes place before Far From Home in the MCU timeline.
But at the end, like when she hears Tommy and the other.
Oh yeah, we don't know how far in the future that is, so that is possible. Yeah. I thought you were talking about like when she becomes the Scarlet Witch, which is the moment that lines up with Kang.
Oh yeah. Maybe it is when he dies. You're right.
Yeah.
So I personally don't think that they're related. I don't think Wanda broke the multiverse. I think Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch made the multiverse more volatile, which is why the events of Phase 4 are able to occur when they weren't able to occur in Phase 3 before time travel happened.
Yeah. You know whose fault it was?
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. No. The only time a villain, even after he dies, it's still his fault for villains. No, but Loki. Well, not Loki, but Loki.
Yes,
Sylvie.
Sylvie.
I love Sylvie.
Oh yeah, what did you think of that dynamic? Personally, I thought it's weird that they kissed.
Yes.
Like I understood because like they understood each other and everything. Like I get that, but I was like, they're technically the same person.
And
here's the thing: it would be less weird if it was Tom Hiddleston and Tom Hiddleston, in my mind. Because like if I had like a clone or a variant from another universe and that looked exactly like me, I'd make out with my clone. I'll say it in public podcast form. I'd make out with my clone. I have that kind of self-confidence. However, if there was like a female version of me, that would feel uncomfortable. Or just another version of me that I found like that is attractive, that is not looking like me. That would seem weird because it's like you're a different person, but also not.
That's And I mean, for variants, we know that it's the same person from another timeline, but it also could be slightly different. Like does for instance, Frog, the Thor frog that we saw in a brief scene in Loki, is he doesn't have the same DNA as Thor because he's a frog, but he's probably a Thor variant. And so it can also be someone like she's just in that role, like the same essentially role in the universe that Loki would have in her timeline. So we don't know if their DNA is exactly the same.
Are we asking like the multiverse variant equivalent of like how many like cousins removed do you have to be before it's weird?
You are 100% correct.
That's what we're asking.
Because like
how
an
far
alternate
apart does
version.
it be before Sweet Home Alabama?
Because there's for instance, there was a variant, boastful Loki. Very much does not look like 2012 Loki. And so I don't think they might have the exact same DNA. So I think that's fair.
He also had, was it crocodile or a gator?
There was
Crocodile
a gator.
Loki.
It was a gator.
Alligator. Alligator Loki. Hi.
Oh gosh, he's so good, and I'm so glad that alligator. Oh my, wait, classic Loki. He was so
really
good.
Cool.
He was so good.
So highlights of the show: Alligator Loki, classic Loki building Asgard with magic, the existence of Sylvie, and then I guess the introduction of Kang the Conqueror.
Yep.
And Mobius.
And Mobius. Oh yeah, no,
in
Mobius and his jet ski. I was ticked that Mobius didn't get to ride it. Like, you know how like in that, I know
they had to give us something waiting for season 2.
But I was, how he shows up in a car to rescue Sylvie from Eliath at the end. I was hoping it'd be like some weird jet ski that can travel on land. That'd have been so funny.
Ka-chow.
I do want to point out for people that are like mad or say that the end of season 1 wasn't like a true season ending. I read that because of COVID restrictions and stuff, they had to they couldn't film. So like parts of season 2 were actually supposed to be in season 1. So like there was technically a different ending.
That happened in WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier too, which is, I had very different expectations for all 3 of the shows than how they like. WandaVision was very, very, very good. And then the last 2 episodes, I was like, it feels like something's missing. COVID.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, something was missing in the middle, and there actually was a storyline that they revealed that they won't be doing, but
with the vaccines and stuff. Yeah.
And the idea that there was an idea that it was a global pandemic post blip.
There was an idea.
And they were like, and then Loki, they cut out a lot of stuff, which is why that 6th episode was 90% of it was them talking to the He Who Remains, was because that's the footage they had.
Ooh, speaking of highlights, He Who Remains, Jonathan Masters. I loved him. I was picturing in a Mortis like being, I don't know if you know Mortis, that's like Kang's variant that runs in the
good Kang.
Neutral Kang. But he's kind of like just like a very like regal, like well-spoken man. But I loved that Jonathan Majors was like all over the place, because that's like, I feel like what what you would be if you've seen all of existence 100, 1,000 times and lived for so long, a million lifetimes, that like
you freaking had that clock thing as your only friend.
Yeah.
Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes.
Creepy.
Dude, that TikTok trend where like people would just like put that like Miss Minutes going like, hi there, like in the episode 6, just to scare people as a jump scare. I'm like, that's not funny. I have nightmares now.
I was so happy that trend did not last more than like a week. So I was like,
I mean, does anything on TikTok last more than like a week?
Some, because like I'll find some videos that are like, because people are like just joining or whatever. But
that's fair.
Like, that was definitely a trend that.
I hate to be a downer, but I didn't love Loki. Like, it had good episodes, episode by episode. It was fine. But, like, overall, I was a little disappointed by the season finale. And then episode 3, the whole, what was that planet called?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Episode 3 kind of fell flat. I was excited in episode 1. I liked the concept of in episode 2 of like Loki in the library doing research. But then episode 3 kind of messed it up, and it didn't like as good as episodes 4 and 5 were. Lamentus, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
That just kind of like threw me, and which is why WandaVision remains my favorite of the 3 shows.
That's fair. I did like him singing in Asgardian.
Oh my god.
Which was like a mix of Norse and some gibberish. Oh, it's good.
That was very cool.
Although saying that love is a knife was really cheesy.
Okay, but that's my background on my phone. On my home screen is like a dagger with roses around it. And I was like, and it was that before that Loki episode, and I was like,
it's so true.
No, that it definitely it's not bad. Like as television shows go, it's very good and very fun. But I feel like the MCU just has built itself up so much that we expect so much of it, which is why sometimes things seem disappointing because they just simply can't live up to our expectations. But
that's right.
Well, I think too, like you're saying with the expectations, like it is Marvel, but also like there's a pandemic. So as much as we rely on Marvel to like be like big and everything, it's like, oh yeah, there's this thing that hinders them from doing everything that they normally would, and
which is a shame because these ideas, people were really excited about them beforehand. It's a shame that they can't fully come to fruition. But do we have anything more to say about Loki?
I really wish there was a frost giant variant.
Yeah.
I really wish that they would address, how Loki is actually a frost giant and doesn't look like Tom Hiddleston like ever. That's always just magic.
Yes. And like that, I mean, ever since he, in Endgame, Infinity War, and they say that he like turns blue kind of, but I think he's just like bloodshot and losing breath from choking. But I really wanted to see him turn like he did in Thor 1 when he found out he was a frost giant. And like I was really expecting that in the show, like one where he embraced it. And also frost giants like have the ability to summon ice, and he never uses it.
Well, he prefers the mat. Like that's the thing. I think we forget about Loki. Like he could have this. He has this whole kingdom that's technically his in Jotunheim. But
he hates it.
He wants to be Asgardian. He wants to be the son of Odin. Like deep down, he cares about that family. He just feels like other from it. So he needs to feel more important, but only in that realm.
So I remember seeing something about this too, and I can't remember. And the only thing that's coming to my mind is Shrek, when Shrek and Fiona are turned human with the magic or whatever. But there was something about like Loki choosing his identity and it being the Asgardian version, so the human Tom Hiddleston form, so it like, because you technically magic doesn't work in the TVA.
Oh yeah.
So like if it was just magic instead of like him accepting a certain identity and that just becoming him, he would have been the frost giant. But because that was like who he was and who he was accepting himself to be, it was the Tom Hiddleston version.
That's fair. Also, I mean, in the first one, they pick him up as a baby, and like as a baby, he turns human looking. I think in Odin's hands. So
it must be like a transfiguration spell. Like if you entered the TVA, if you were an animagus and you entered the TVA in your like animal form, you just stay in your animal form, not revert to your human form. Like
so
idea.
Would Hulk stay as Hulk?
If Hulk was the Hulk when he entered the TVA, it'd be but Hulk's not magic based.
No, but it's a transformer.
I think it would depend on how like the gamma radiation reacts in the TVA. Speaking of the TVA, before we do move on, where do y'all think the TVA is?
Like, what do you mean?
North Dakota.
I think it's in the quantum realm.
Yeah. No, I think that there's going to be. I do think that there's going to be cities in the quantum realm. Obviously, Quantumania. We're probably going to see a Kang city, right? I don't know if it's in the quantum realm because it's also outside of the timeline, right? Oh no, just that house was.
But what do you need access to time travel in the MCU? The quantum realm.
But what were they using? The things. I don't know what they were
Time
called.
pads. That's
yeah.
Quantum pads.
Were they using?
It's quantum technology.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. That's not confirmed. They might confirm it in season 2 or Ant-Man Quantumania. But anyway, the next big thing, our first Marvel movie in over a year, Black Widow came to theaters. We had some star-studded performances, such as that of Yelena Belova and Alexei. Last name. I just remember the first names. But yeah, we got a really cool cast. It was a very exciting movie. So where would y'all rank it in terms of like MCU movies? Like, is this up with, Winter Soldier and Endgame, or is this like
down by Thor 2?
Thor: The Dark World.
I haven't seen it yet, and this is the one that I'm like pissed at Marvel about because of what's going on, because it was supposed to be released in theaters, and then Disney put it on Disney Plus as well with the premiere access, and Scarlett Johansson sued them, and they now have like a ban on Scarlett Johansson going into any Disney movies. And yet with Shang-Chi, they are letting it be exclusively in theaters, and
they don't want to get sued.
It's not going to be Disney Plus.
Not for a while. Like, I think they're letting it run for a bit in theaters exclusively. But like, I know Disney's argument was, well, to Scarlett Johansson was, you're not thinking about a pandemic. Okay, but Disney, you can't talk because Disney World and Disneyland are open. Like, yes, you have like restrictions, but like, you're still open. So Disney's decisions lately, I've been seriously questioning. So
we have to limit our discussion to limit spoilers for Black Widow.
I mean, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. Like, I've seen a lot of the spoilers,
but not all of it.
That's true. Not all of it.
Well, you could, when you do feel ready to go to the movie theater, you can support Scarlett Johansson by seeing it, by paying for it, because then you're giving her money.
I did go to the theaters to see it because no one else wants to go to the theater, so I just get the corner to myself and I feel safe. Yeah,
no, there was like no one when I went. But now everyone's back on campus, so more people. But I really liked it. I wouldn't say one of my favorites.
I'd put it around Guardians of the Galaxy for me.
See, now Guardians of the Galaxy is really high for me.
I agree. Guardians of the Galaxy is probably, let's see, there's 25 Marvel movies now. I'd say Black Widow's is a top 10 for me.
It's probably in the middle area, that little Venn diagram.
Like 12 to 15 ish.
Yeah. I mean, I love David Harbour. He's fantastic. No, I did really like it. I think there were some things I didn't like. I thought some actors weren't used as much as they could be. I love Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova is
you do like, you land in the hair flip. So good.
Platonically, I fell in love with her in that movie. She seems like such a good I have a girlfriend.
Romantically,
don't matter.
I have a girlfriend, and she agrees. No.
I have a girlfriend that listens to this podcast.
Yes.
Does your girlfriend listen to the podcast?
Sometimes.
Sometimes
she listens to me record it. So
I'm single, so it doesn't matter. Woo!
Oh, but still, platonically, I would much rather be friends with Yelena than like romantically involved, because I think she'd actually kill me.
It was real to me.
It was real to me.
I say that all the time.
She's just like a little puppy throughout the whole movie, yet she can freaking murder people.
Yeah. But yeah. Hope you should see it sometime.
I thought seeing it eventually, but like
I don't get why people are hating on Taskmaster as a villain. Thought that was very interesting. Dreykov, on the other hand, not an interesting villain. However, the way Widow interacts with him makes it digestible.
I thought Black Widow fought the worst in the movie out of like most of the characters.
That's fair.
Like
honestly.
she lost most of the fights she got in. But I wish that they had used more of Taskmaster. Just like fighting. I wanted to see Taskmaster fight everyone. But I did like it. I liked the suit. And I know people are like, it's not even a comic accurate suit. But like
It's close enough.
You're not gonna do spandex with a skull. Like best thing you can do is a high tech. It's cool.
No, I the one thing I wish that I just hope they could find a way to bring Taskmaster back as a villain, or like even like unhypnotized, where she's like not.
With Loki, you've introduced the TVA and variants, so there could be a Taskmaster variant, especially because the TVA doesn't have a strict timeline to follow anymore.
Yeah, we could get a bounty hunter that is solo, not part of any organization, or Tony Masters.
That's right. Tony Master.
Such a dumb name.
I just love the like from the comics, Taskmaster like has this is this weird cockiness that like the Taskmaster from the movie doesn't have. I think Taskmaster from the movie is really cool, but I like the cockiness, and I'm like I use the same character, like have her like do some like growing and like between like films, but then like bring her back, please. I don't want this to be the last we saw, because I think she's a really interesting character, especially with how they the backstory they gave her in the MCU. Yeah.
Also, I 100% went into this movie thinking it would be like but similar to Rogue One, where I'm like introducing characters I don't know, they're all gonna die. But I was pleasantly surprised.
I knew Yelena wasn't going to, because when they make a Black Widow 2, she will be the Black Widow.
Yes.
And will probably be part of the new Avengers. Dark Avengers, given the post-credit scene. But
so this is really random, but my brain finally caught up with the fact that you said Tony Masters, because I knew a Tommy McMaster.
Coincidence. That's him. That's Taskmaster. You went to high school with him.
Apparently. Yeah, sorry, it was really random, but like I was like, all of a sudden, wait, no, you said Tony.
Gosh, Taskmaster, Tony Master. That'd be like Peter Parker's name being Peter Spider, and he's like Spider-Man. It's all right.
Peter Guy or Peterman.
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 There we go.
That's him.
So we won't go into too many like spoilers for Black Widow. However, we highly recommend. I think it was really good. I give it a top 10 around the area of Captain America 1 and Guardians of the Galaxy. Isaac thinks it's slightly less, but I think that's just because Isaac doesn't like strong female leads.
Whoa! No, because I loved it.
No, I'm messing with you, but that seems to be the critique on the internet, is people that don't like it or like don't like strong female leads.
No, I didn't say I don't like it. It's not down by Thor 2. I enjoy it.
No, I'm just messing with you, Isaac. I needed to put that in there.
That's all right. I get it. You'll get yours.
Oh, I definitely will. I slip up too much on this podcast. But so we also really quickly, before we get into what if, just want to cover the Eternals and Shang-Chi trailers. At the time of this recording, Shang-Chi has not been released. I will see it tomorrow. So, whoops. However, based on the trailers, I'm really excited for this movie. However, Marvel does know how to make a kick butt trailer.
Yeah.
So,
see, but Awkwafina is in it, and like she is talking with the main character. I can't remember. And like trying to say Shang-Chi, and like there's that little bit where she's like saying it like how it's Americanized. And
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, and then it's like, no, it's Shang-Chi, and she's like, yeah, Shang-Chi, like, and it was just like.
I kept saying Shang-Chi until I heard the previews where they're pronouncing it correctly. I'm like, oh, crap! I've been saying the wrong name.
Yeah.
I'm pretty darn excited for it, especially with the trailer that has Abomination
and Wong.
I love it. And Abomination looks like he's gone through some mutations, like he does in the comics.
Mhm.
Uh,
That just made me so
gosh.
excited because it's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and the Ten Rings is the terrorist organization that kidnapped Tony Stark and Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
So I think this could be bringing, Phase 4 back to, Phase 1 and show that there's been this other stuff going on in the background while we've been following the main Avengers timeline, and now it's about to, come bite us in the butt.
Yeah.
So, like, I bet you we're going to get some Obadiah Stane, Easter egg, not alive, but like, oh, we did a deal with Stain. Oh, we did, talk about the Mandarin who used the Ten Rings as his, front organization from Iron Man 3, who is now in the Marvel one-shot, been brought to the actual Ten Rings.
Ant-Man,
Yeah.
there's a guy with a 10 rings tattoo that is thinking about buying the Wasp Yellow Jacket outfit. So that's
they've
all
been
ties
pretty present throughout phases 1, 2, and not really 3, but like enough that they're still around.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to officially see the official Ten Rings, not just the organization but the mystical objects, and see how they do them, because my only exposure to them, I didn't know about them in the comics, was the Iron Man Armored Adventures TV show on Nickelodeon, where they're like rings you put on your hand. And they shoot laser beams. These don't quite look like the same thing, and I'm very interested to see how the Ten Rings work in the MCU.
And
arm, right?
They're like gauntlets,
armbands. Which is, I could just be confusing it with the movie Kung Fu Hustle, but I'm pretty sure armbands is a way of fighting. But
Batman, he's got his triangle blades.
That too.
I was gonna say, with knight's armor too, they would generally have around the wrist and everything for swords, because you can't hold a sword and a shield at the same time because swords are super heavy.
But I have seen some theories about, because you see there's a dragon in this trailer, and it's what if they're finger rings for the dragon, and that's why they're so big.
Also, is that dragon, what's the really well-known dragon villain in the MCU? Fing Fang Foom?
I was about to say Mushu.
Not yet. Yeah, no, you are correct, I think.
So I wasn't sure if that was the case. I don't know enough about that lore to, from that image to be able to say this is it. But it looks mystical but weirdly grounded at the same time. So I'm very, it's a mixture of tech and modern life, and this mystical idea, very similar to how Black Panther looked, but I'm getting weird modern world problems, the way they tackle them in Age of Ultron, but also better than Age of Ultron.
Oh, the 10 rings are just vibranium.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they could do that, but
if you think about, if the dragon is a villain and the 10 rings are actually its rings, the lore on dragons and their treasure troves, when you steal from dragons, they hunt you down and to get their treasure back. So I understand why the dragon would be a villain.
It looks like it might be helping out Shang-Chi, or it doesn't look like he's in danger. He just looks surprised. So, but we will know this in the next couple of days. I'm sorry, Hope. I don't know if you are comfortable going to the theaters yet.
I am. I just don't have people to go with me, is the problem.
Raving Geeks outing.
Ooh, actually meet in person?
Yes, that sounds great. Oh, crap. I just realized we have never physically met in person.
Yeah, I think pretty sure I saw Hope today driving around campus, but I didn't say anything. I didn't want to break the sacred bond.
I probably wouldn't have heard you with my headphones in anyways.
Yeah.
I'm also in ANSPA at some point, but I'm mostly in Pierce, so I might see you around too.
I am in ANSPA all the time. English majors. ANSPA is our second home.
History majors. 4 of my 5 classes are in Powers, and 3 of the 4 of those are all in the same classroom.
I rotate between 2 classrooms this semester.
Yep. And then I have my museum studies class, which is in the museum.
Nice.
Sorry, this isn't geek news.
Yeah. So, I mean
it is kind of geek.
it is definitely geek news, just not MCU geek news. So tangent. But let's get back. So Shang-Chi, very excited. Movie comes out this week. We'll probably give some updates next week when we record on what we think of the movie. Those of us who've been able to see it, but also Eternals trailer. I don't know what to think.
See, because like I've heard that it's supposed to like span the entire timeline of the MCU in one movie, and I'm like, that's a lot of like skipping time and everything to like say, hey, this happened here and this happened here, and it matches up with this thing and this thing. Like, what? I'm confused.
Yeah, I am very excited. Mostly because I think it's got a freaking sweet cast.
Yes,
There's
It
so
does
many,
have a really good
actors.
cast.
I love the Black Knight is in it. That's Jon Snow, who's actor. Gosh, Kit Harington. That's like his character, and like I love the Black Knight. I think he's really cool. No, I'm super excited for the Eternals. I love that. I love the fact that it's going through history. That you're seeing all these ancient things. You're seeing like Babylon, and you're all these ancient places. It's gonna be good. I don't know, unless it's not, but I love it.
With Hela and Angelina Jolie's character, but I can't remember her name. But they were talking about how they're essentially like not necessarily the same character, but the idea of like Angelina's the sun or daytime, and Hela's the darkness. And I was like, oh, that's a good parallel to make. But
yes,
I'm very excited for Angelina Jolie because like first off, she's a badass woman, and like when she was Maleficent too, like the power and depth she brought to that movie was spot on. And with her being in this movie, I'm like, okay, this is already gonna be great. And then the guy who I only know him as Medici from the Netflix show about the Medicis. He's essentially the Marvel version of Superman, is what the internet has been calling him.
It's Rob Stark. But is it Icarus?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his name. Yeah. Well, he does wear blue and he does shoot red lasers. And he can fly. I don't know. Eternals are just kind of interesting, and I think we're gonna get a lot of lore to help build the universe in this movie.
I think so too. I think like the cosmic MCU, we're going to get a lot of fleshing out because I feel like we get a little bit in Thor Ragnarok, we get a little bit in Guardians of the Galaxy, but we don't, and Captain Marvel, I guess, but we don't fully understand what that community looks like, what the history of that is. So I think we're going to get that in Eternals. But I think the closest thing, like the closest other MCU movie I can think of is Guardians of the Galaxy. But that, even then, we kind of knew what we were getting, like Guardians of the Galaxy Space Pirates movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what Eternals is going to be because it looks primarily based on Earth, but mostly about cosmic stuff. But then, like, they had that one line in the newest trailer that's like, why didn't you interfere? Why didn't you stop Thanos? And then it's like, because someone told us not to. And then it shows the one Celestial. Asherim the Judge. The one that was like teased in Guardians of the Galaxy using the Power Stone to obliterate that planet. And like, the Celestials are very powerful. Like the fact that they took out Ego, who's like not the most powerful of Celestials in Guardians 2 was a fluke.
Yeah.
Or is Ego even a Celestial?
He said he was a Celestial.
But like, I don't think he's not like, he's not, that's not the, not the same thing. Like, I don't know where they're going with Eternals. I just know the power scale seems insane.
Yeah.
Which isn't Thanos like the cousin of one of the Eternals or something?
So yeah,
we get to see teenage Thanos in this movie.
That's gonna be weird. Are they gonna keep the normal purple, or are they gonna go back to the original purple Thanos?
The magenta.
Yeah.
Well, so Thanos he's a deviant, which basically there's like the humans,
which are the villains of the Eternals movie.
Yeah, there's humans, there's Eternals, and there's deviants, right? Are those the three, or am I missing one?
Celestials. technically.
That's like high. I'm trying to think of the same line, but basically,
Oh, Inhumans?
I think it's Inhumans. Maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. But Thanos being a deviant means that it's obviously it's slightly different. Well, he's a deviant mixed with another type of being. Technically, he says he's a Titan, but he also lives on the planet Titan. Yeah, I know that in the comics he was related to this. He was also like a deviant Skrull, I think, somewhat related, which is why he's got the butt chin. But that's not entirely factual here. Either way, very powerful beings related to other very powerful beings.
Yeah, it's that was the final trailer, the one that we got recently, right? Yeah, I still am so confused on what this movie is going to be, but I'm still very intrigued because I don't know. They're name dropping a lot of like current MCU stuff, but they're also talking about all this like past and history. So I'm just wondering, what is the conflict? What is the fight? Even after all these trailers, which I mean probably is good. I'm gonna go see the movie.
Yeah. Like with Kang coming in at the end of Loki, talking about how like there's an evil version of him or like a worse version. I half wonder if like the MCU is purposely leaving him out of the Eternals and he'll come in there.
Leaving who out of the Eternals?
Kang, the Conqueror.
Kang is not an Eternal?
No.
What I'm saying, like bringing him in as like the villain or something like that, or like introducing the evil version that the Kang in Loki was talking about.
Oh, that Kang is going to be in Loki season 2, even though the main villain will probably be Ravonna Renslayer, because the main villain of Ant-Man Quantumania is Kang the Conqueror, not He Who Remains or any other variant. It's Kang, and I think Kang will survive Ant-Man Quantumania, and whatever events happen there will cause him to target the Avengers.
Yeah.
Is my theory, but yeah, but Kang showing up in Eternals wouldn't be too off for a time span thing, though. So you might be onto something.
Like, because I know the MCU also purposely leaves out in their trailers, like hidden gems that like you don't realize until, like, because they'd want to draw you in with the other stuff, but then you go see the movie and you're like, that wasn't in the trailer.
Yeah.
What do you mean Hulk was never a Hulk in Wakanda?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so 2 last things real quick to cut. Well, real quick. Marvel What If is currently going on at the recording of this podcast. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. We're about halfway through. Each episode so far has kind of been a one-off, and they haven't tied together. And we won't talk too much about in details because we know it's still going on. Don't want spoilers. But each of these episodes has been, a fun, self-contained story. Any specific thoughts on What If?
Well, okay, I haven't seen the latest episode yet, so I can't talk about Doctor Strange. Sorry, continue.
My 2 are about like the Peggy episode in the Howling Commandos.
Yeah,
go for it.
So like 1, it's just about how they created Bucky's character in cartoon version. I was like saying that you're attracted to a cartoon is just weird to hear, but like very attractive. I was like, that's not okay.
It's not. I still sometimes find myself crushing on Shigo from Kim Possible. So like,
yeah.
I mean, basically, like everyone had a crush on Danny Phantom. So, but I was like, why? Like they had to like just take a picture of Sebastian Stan and we're just like doot on their computer and just
I could have lost my arm, he says.
But like my biggest thing was Bucky didn't become the Winter Soldier because Steve didn't become Captain America. But you still had Peggy becoming a super soldier. So like, I mean, I understand like it brings out the sexism and everything too of like, oh, well, it's just a woman, like no big deal. But like they still would have been experimenting because it was Red Skull. Right?
No, the reason Bucky didn't get blown off the train was because Peggy was the super soldier. They were able to get the Tesseract. So originally in Captain America, they were testing the Tesseract on that train. Peggy did the mission differently and retrieved the Tesseract, which is how Stark was able to create that Hydra Stomper armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that. Okay.
Pretty
So
cool.
That's why I got confused
that's
about it.
how.
Okay.
But then also not having that made Hydra go a little too far, and they figured out magic, and are able to summon that tentacle monster, which guess what shows up in the newest episode.
But like, wasn't it still Red Skull in that episode for Hydra, or was it just
Yeah,
Hydra?
It was
Red
still,
Skull.
Red Skull and Hydra, but because
Okay.
they didn't have immediate access to the Tesseract to mass produce weapons, they were like, okay, what else can we do based on the information we collected? And they open a portal.
See, I always thought that like when they were like testing on Bucky and like trying to reproduce the super serum, super soldier, whatever it is, the serum, that like they were using Red Skull's blood and like trying to like replicate like early stages of like DNA and everything. That was always just like my thought from the original Captain America First Avenger.
They probably had Red Skull's blood, but they also in this What If comic, it could be anything, but it could have been Peggy's blood if Isaiah Bradley.
No, Isaiah Bradley wasn't until the Vietnam War.
Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to remember like when Bucky becomes active in the MCU timeline. Is it like it's not right away? Like they do testing for like a decade, don't they?
Yeah. It was something.
Well, because they did a little bit of testing, right, on him the first time he finds him in the chair. I
Yeah,
could be wrong.
Yeah.
but
And then they test on him, and then the Russians get him after that. So,
well, it's all Hydra.
yeah,
So.
you're right. The Russian Hydrans.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to make a movie just explaining how Bucky becomes the Winter Soldier. Like, I would gladly watch that, or like a TV show of it, like, because it just gets confusing as to how it all progresses and fits to me. But
yeah, but anyway, What If? I'm like, I can't wait for them to connect. Like each episode, like kind of like has been sets up like a hero for like the Watcher to intervene and bring together, which keeps saying can't intervene, but probably gonna intervene. That's probably gonna be the main plot. We got 5 episodes left so far. The people we've been introduced to are Captain Carter in one timeline. Another timeline we have Star-Lord, but T'Challa, which was my favorite episode. That is a fantastic episode.
He's such a good Star-Lord too.
Oh, he's such a good. It just makes you like remember just how deeply flawed Peter Quill is as a person as well. But like if you are especially missing Chadwick Boseman, that was his last performance as T'Challa.
Well, this whole show is his last performance because he's in other he's gonna be in other episodes, I think.
But like that's as his episode, like that's his tribute. So like highly recommend that episode. Okay, I have to give a little spoilers. My favorite line in the whole show so far has been when they're running away from the Collector's like army, and Nebula and Thanos are like together, and then like he's like, "Go ahead," and she's like, "What are you crazy?" He goes, "No, mad." Dude, like I got chills. I was like, "That's so freaking cool."
Although, because he's such a he made space, the galaxy, a really safe place, but. Of course, there's the part at the end that you see Ego, and then you're like, well, bad things are going to happen there. And then also the Collector has like
the Avengers stuff.
All of the Avengers stuff, which means
Earth is not safe.
Yeah, it was collected. Or not.
Well, but my guess is like the Ravagers keep Earth generally safe, or maybe Captain Marvel's still around or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that's episode 3 is, the Avengers don't form. And so Captain Marvel has to get called before she gets called in Infinity War.
I mean, with the Ravagers and Ego's still making half human kids or half whatever kids to try and become more powerful or whatever. So if he has more human kids like Peter Quill, like,
also, I like that the different like thing about this entire timeline was that Yondu sent his like crewmates to go get Quill and not himself. Like that was what the split point was.
Oh, I love the like trying to figure out the first 2 episodes. It was pretty obvious because Uatu said it, but in the second 2 episodes, it's not super obvious as to like what the major change is, like where the change takes place. So first episode, it's Peggy stays in the room, which or everyone stays in the room instead of going up into that booth, which changes the dynamic of like how they're going to find the spy and everything like that.
Yeah.
Episode 2, Yondu just delegates.
Kraglin.
This is why you should never delegate, kids. Do everything yourself. That's awful advice. But episode 3, it's actually I saw a TikTok theory. It's what if Hope Van Dyne became a SHIELD agent, so she was sent instead of Natasha Romanoff to Ukraine because Nat got shot by Bucky in Ukraine, and Bucky killed Hope Van Dyne. Like that's the change, and I was like, that is cool.
Such a dark episode too.
Oh, you thought that was dark?
I haven't seen the next one. You're right. I haven't seen it, but like watching what happened to Hulk. I was like watching. I was like, and like it's getting big. I'm like,
no,
and then it's just like a giant fart cloud, and I was, oh my gosh. I was like, that's. Go ahead.
I was trying to figure out like. As that's happening, I'm like, how's he gonna take out the Hulk? Like whoever this is. And I'm like, oh, like you didn't. And then at the end, I'm like, you didn't fight the Hulk. You made the Hulk fight itself.
Yeah.
And the Hulk, the only thing stronger than the Hulk is the Hulk. I'm like, oh crap.
Also, I like the concept. I've seen it a few times, but it's like Asgardians are super strong, super resistant to like bludgeoning and stuff. But they're really weak to piercing damage because, like, especially with D&D references, piercing damage weakness is like in the first one, not the first one, but the Avengers, like Loki stabs Thor with like a little knife. And then like later, like Thor gets stabbed and like he's getting stabbed all the time, but he can take a Hulk to the face. And so I like to know that, Hawkeye could one shot Thor,
My thought on that was actually because Thor didn't have his powers, and also so he was like Steve Rogers level strong, not Thor level strong at that point. So that was my thing, was he hadn't grabbed Mjolnir yet, and Mjolnir at that point wasn't just the hammer. Like Mjolnir possessed all the powers of Thor and like the godliness of Thor. So he wasn't god. That's fair.
But still,
but What If has been a joyride. It's shaping up to. Maybe not for like MCU, like consequences, but just like I think I'm enjoying What If the most.
My favorite's still Falcon and Winter Soldier, but that's also because Bucky is my favorite character, and I love the dynamic between him and Sam. So.
Nice. So last thing to cover is the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which just recently released. All right. We're all gonna close our eyes, and then we're gonna hold up our hands, and we're gonna rate the trailer out of 10 on how much it makes us excited for the movie. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
You liar.
Oddball out with 3
I am the
instead
oddball
of
out.
10.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening, Isaac and Hope had 10. I had 3. You two go first.
I see Tom Holland. I say I want to watch it.
I see all of the, which took me until watching freaking TikToks to like fully realize that they're referencing everything. But the Sinister Six? No. Yes.
Yeah.
That, and then seeing Doc Ock and everything, I was like, what? And just the Hello Peter and all of the memes that came out of that too. But like going, oh shit, this is real. What's going on? Like they didn't just bring in a scroll and be like, no, and have Peter being like, what are you talking about? That's Spider-Man. I'm Peter. Like, like we were hypothesizing before, but
so I will say, I mean, obviously something's up with Doctor Strange. I'll get that on the table. he would never. I mean, he would break stuff just to do stuff, but like this man's a doctor. Like he thinks things through, and I think it was a very foolish thing. And so obviously something's going on with him. I'm not going to throw out big names like Mephisto, but
Loki variant.
Loki variant.
Oh.
Or if it's, I do have a theory, but I love what is it? Molina. Oh gosh, what's his first?
Molina.
Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
I love him. And I like Spider-Man 2 was like my favorite superhero movie for the longest time. I loved it so much. I thought Doc Ock did such a good job. So I'm really excited about just, you know, and even if it's gonna just be gosh, what's his name? I can't think of the joke name that they gave Quicksilver in WandaVision.
Ralph Boner.
Ralph Boner. I don't care, even if it's just a Ralph Boner, you know, like whole situation where it's like, oh, it's not really them. It's just all, you know, it's just all of this is actually just Mysterio again doing a giant thing with better tech. They never said he was dead, but I'm gonna be.
I'm
excited.
pretty sure he's dead.
Pretty sure he's dead, but he never said it. They never said he was
pretty
dead. He said Peter literally could have said, "Is he dead?" And then she would have been like, "Yeah," but instead he goes, "Is this real?" Who says that? I get it.
A kid who's been like given so many illusions. Just think about when he meets Happy in the tulip field and is like,
I'm just saying, I'm the kind of guy that would have kicked the body a few times. But
you would have kicked Jake Gyllenhaal while he was down.
Yes, I'd let him kick me as well. But anyways, I'm really excited for Spider-Man. I am.
I have to say on your
do
comment
I need to
about
poo-poo the party now?
Brendan, you can poo-poo the party all you want. If you don't want to see Spider-Man, you don't have to.
Oh, I'm still gonna see it. I think my excitement for the movie, without the trailer, was much higher than it is now. I'm just a little confused as to like, one, why Doctor Strange would perform that spell. I feel like that's the big thing, and that could be a cool plot twist. But I think I was just expecting the multiverse to already be broken by the time the movie started.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And I don't think I find a plot where Peter is the cause of a broken multiverse less interesting than a plot of a Peter dealing with a broken multiverse. If that makes sense.
But what if it was already broken and whoever Doctor Strange is just trying to blame it on Peter?
And like it's a Doctor Strange variant, or it's like someone in disguise. I could see that. There's definitely something wrong with the Sanctum Sanctorum, and I don't think Strange would just be like, yeah, I'm cool with all the snow in here.
They left the AC on.
Yeah. I heard actually they just never fixed the roof after Hulk fell through.
That's fair.
Well, you also have the fact that like he allows Peter to call him Steven.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Just Doctor Strange.
Doctor.
Yeah. And because he introduces himself as Doctor Strange to basically like everybody, because that's his point of pride, even now that he's the whole whatever. Like that's still his point of pride is like, no, I'm a really smart doctor, and here with these magical powers, like now I can be even better, but like here's my bigger duty, but my name is Doctor Strange. But I have to say, Wong leaving and just being like, don't do the spell, like that was just like,
yeah.
But that's also so Wong, because he knows Strange is going to do it. He's like, you better not. But like, I freaking love Wong. I'm so happy.
He's got to go fight Abomination now. That was where he
exactly. All right, one last point from No Way Home. Do you think Wanda or Loki will show up in this movie? Those are our two other multiverse characters.
If any of them does, I think it'd be Wanda.
Okay, see, I was going to say if anyone was going to, I think it'd be Loki.
Yeah, I'm going with Loki more because I think Wanda is still trying to figure out the whole Scarlet Witch thing, and then once she hears her son's voices like calling for her, she's going to be more concerned about that.
I've
Like
also
she
heard
might show up at
rumors
the
that
end, but
I've heard rumors that people think Wanda's going to be the villain in Multiverse of Madness, and then the joke on TikTok is no, that they say she's the villain, but no matter what role she is playing, she's my hero. Um, but I'm like, I don't know. She could, commit some murders, and I might quickly go, okay, maybe we can't root for Wanda this time. That doesn't seem okay, but either way, oh well. So that kind of rounds things out. I know we've been going for a little while, but there's lots and lots of news, so we'll do our best to cover what we can without talking your ear off a little bit too much. So as always here on Raving Geeks, we like to end with some recommendations for our viewers, whether that be movies, video games, comics, anything else geeky. I know I've recommended food sometimes. So I guess I haven't started on one of these yet, so I will start. I have a couple recommendations. First thing, if you just want to laugh, Letterkenny. It's a show on Hulu. It's about some rural Canadian hicks. It's pretty crass, so if you're not a fan of strong language or like some really weird slang, not for you, but very fun. I also recommend The Boys. I mentioned that at the beginning. Very, very good. Very, very fun. I also. I'm going to go off screen for a second because I realized it's too far away for me to grab. But I found this book at a bookstore. It is called Batman and Psychology. If you are a psychology fan, it psychoanalyzes Batman and his villains. Very, very excited to read that.
They all have a lot of problems. That's just going to be
going to be
the
very
start
fun.
of the book, the end of the book. That's it.
And then just a quick local recommendation. If you are back in Mount Pleasant and are really into like organic, local type food, but like, we don't have a Whole Foods, even though Whole Foods is a scam. The Mount Pleasant Farmers Market is happening on Thursdays from 7:30 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. I went for the first time to the Thursday market ever. I couldn't go because I was working over the summer. Highly recommend. I got lots of vegetables, great, very reasonably priced, very good. I got some like really nice cheese too. I got this like brie, this soft brie with like blue cheese in it. It's really good. It's really creamy. Like it a lot. So sorry, buttload of recommendations, but it was summer. There's lots of stuff to get excited about.
I love the farmers market. There's so many good like banana breads and like other types of breads. Oh man. Well, I guess I'll go next. So my recommendation is a book that I finished reading. I read it over the summer. I finished reading it last week. And it's Neil Gaiman's American Gods, which you could also watch on HBO Max. I haven't watched it yet, but I really wanted to read it, and it is incredibly good.
Love Neil Gaiman.
Right? Oh, he's so good. This is my fourth Neil Gaiman book I've read. I'm trying. I'm trying to get more and more. It's really good. It's basically about if gods are beings that are created from belief, and people came to the Americas throughout all of history and like brought with them their beliefs. Like it's basically about like the deities they brought with them, still living in America, and then also the new gods beings, like internet and like media beings, like they're like the gods of those things because those are the new things that humans practically worship now. And it's just it's a good chunky book, but it's so good.
So is there a god of avocado toast?
Not yet. It was written in 2001, so maybe not. But
not yet.
There's
so
still
at that
rumors.
Point it'd be like the god of like cottage cheese. Was that the health food at the time?
Oh, I hope not.
Cottage cheese.
Stop! Don't say it. But it's so good. I recommend it. It's a bit on the mature side for a book. I would not label it a kid book or even a young adult book. I'd probably just label it an adult book because it deals with a lot of concepts. But it's really good. Hope, take us away.
Okay. I have a couple. So the first one is also a book. It is called Birthmarked by I can never say his name. It's like Cara O'Brien. Caraugh, I think is how you spell his first name. But it is really good. I almost finished it while camping, but then I didn't have the sequel and I wanted to read the sequel right after. So I told myself I wasn't going to finish the book until I got the sequel, and now I have the sequel. I just haven't finished it yet because English major. I have to read a bunch of other books. But so yeah, I highly recommend that one. I am going to recommend Turner and Hooch on Disney Plus, the new show with Josh Peck. So if you remember him and Drake and Josh, I will say it is very different imagining the innocent Josh Peck now wearing a Kevlar vest and shooting guns, and like he's still the same like Josh Peck adorableness, but like also like you're like, oh shoot, like this is I wouldn't recommend it for like small children, but like if you got middle schoolers, like it's a good introductory of criminal shows.
Is he Turner or is he Hooch?
He's neither.
Turner.
He's and.
That's the
Turner.
twist. He's Turner. Okay.
He's Turner because Hooch is the dog, and Hooch is freaking adorable. Oh my god!
Did they call him Hooch the Pooch?
I think.
And that is it for here on Raving Geeks. After Isaac makes a horrible pun.
But I mean, they do have an episode title where it's like, a good day to dog hard or something like that.
Gosh.
So a play on, and then like at one point he says yippee-ki-yay, but doesn't finish it. But it's super cute, super fun. And then the final thing, I've been watching Law and Order SVU, but I haven't started from the beginning because I'm gonna be honest, like I like Stabler, but like he's not my favorite. I like the dynamic of Nick Amaro with the team better. So I've been watching more of those episodes, which is like season 11 and later or something like that. But I find it super helpful for like information, and I will say trigger warning for anybody. It is mostly about like sexual assaults and stuff, but it's still very like empowering because a couple of the episodes, like with the victims, they get upset, but then the detectives are like, no, I see you, I'm listening, like I believe you. And I think that that's good for any survivor to hear, is to know that someone's on their side. So yeah, those are my recommendations.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Hope that's a very, very important message. And now on our somber note, thank you all for joining us today here on Raving Geeks. Make sure you leave a comment wherever you're listening from. We love to hear what you all thought about this episode and what you want to hear in the next episode and throughout the season. We really want to try and get more, involved with, the audience and try and talk to people, maybe, pull people onto the pod if they want to be on it. They'll probably start getting some new hosts in here because I know all three of us are graduating. We got to start thinking about the future of the pod and who wants to be on it. And we'd love for fans to come in and kind of take charge.
Our sidekicks that become their own heroes.
Exactly, Robin to Nightwing.
Yes.
So also feel free to reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter at Raving Geeks, as well as TikTok. Stitch and Duet, any weird TikToks we make too, would love to see that.
Keep going on Brendan's Pokemon TikTok. That's still getting likes.
Still getting likes 6 months later. That just brings joy to my heart every time I get that notification. But anyways, as always, I've been Brendan Valentine, along with
Hope Gooderl.
And I've been Isaac Hunter.
Stay geeky and have a great weeky, everyone. So long.
Bye.